Hi, welcome to this video, and we're looking in this video one major reason why people steal. This is the second video in our series on human behavior. If you missed our last video where we looked at why people tell lies and what you can do about it, please check the link to the video in the description below, or it's just popping up on the card right up there. So what's the intrinsic motivation for theft is a topic of interest in this video. And if I ask you, have you ever stolen? Why do you steal? Well, using the word stole or steal actually sounds very negative. So maybe let's be a bit kind and then we say, have you ever taken something that was not yours? And what was your primary motivation for taking that? I believe it's important, and this was a big breakthrough for me, because once you understand why people do steal, then you're going to expand your mind. It's like moving to a whole new level of life where you're like, quote unquote, a Superman living above the merman, because you can't just see yourself stealing. So, but the question is, why do people steal? Just like from our last video, there are a whole number of reasons and motivations that could push someone to take something that doesn't belong to them. Whether it's picking up a car, or picking up somebody's wallet in a bus, or padding zeros in a company's business sheet, there are a whole number of reasons and motivations for which people steal. But if we're looking at the intricate major reason, which is one everyone can relate to, we'll have to go back again to the child. What motivates a little boy or a little girl to visit their friends and see their toys, and on their way out they'll pick one of those toys and try to get away with it, to steal one of those toys? That's what we are saying. The reason is because they believe they cannot have that toy. So note that the reason why we steal, the intricate reason why humans steal, is because of the belief that whatsoever they are stealing, they cannot have it by themselves. Now, when you look at that carefully, you realize that buried right within there is low self-esteem, low self-concept, low self-worth. Because if you believe you cannot have something, then you're believing that you're not worth that thing. You're not worth earning it legally. Perhaps that explains why we don't steal everything, and there are people who would not steal a $5 bill or a $10 bill, because they already have $5 bills or $100 bills in their wallet. But when it comes to $1 million, which they don't have, and then they get interested, I don't think you would wake up and go and try to steal the content of the trash can of your neighbor. I mean, you know it's waste. It's not worth you, and you feel you're more worth than that trash. So you don't go stealing the trash. Of course, unless you're from Africa and then they believe it's a curse where you can actually steal trash just to go and dump it. But well, that's not what we're focusing on here. So this is actually the lesson I told you I learned, and that changed my mind, because understand this. Every time you steal something, you're saying you cannot afford that thing. You're saying you're not worth that thing. You're saying you're so little and low that that thing is so exceptional for you. Now, if you have a good self-concept, a good self-worth, and you know you are worth more than anything, which you are, because you are created in the image of your creator, then it doesn't matter if it's $1 trillion, you can steal it, because you know you are worth more than that. It's like in your mind, royalty, you cannot abase yourself to that level to be stealing whatsoever it is. So in the intricate sense, the child knows they don't have that at home. They can buy it, and perhaps they have asked their parents to buy it, and parents have told them the general answer when you ask them to buy something, they don't have money. And so the child feels, since I'm not worth this, I can afford this, the only way for me to have it is to take it without permission, which is to steal it. And one thing that is amazing about this that many people never really realize is that if you're stealing something and you're actually lowering yourself to say you're not worth that and you cannot afford that, you're in the same line aborting your potential to actually achieve something like that and even greater. Because if you steal it, then why work the potentials that are in you that can generate a lot more than that? So typically, stealing anything is limiting yourself below that thing. And we can see in the instructions of the first century great church leader, the Apostle Paul, in Ephesians 4 verse 28, and he says, "Let him who stole steal no longer, but rather let him labor, working with his hands what is good, that he may have something to give him who has need." So you realize that he's saying, let him who stole steal no more, but now the solution is let him work so that he may have, meaning that as long as you're stealing, you're killing your potentials and your opportunities to actually have. But stopping stealing, you're giving room for the treasures that are in you to be able to manifest themselves. And how is that possible? A simple word, responsibility. So stealing is simply an act of irresponsibility because you are far worse than anything you can find on earth. But you need to take responsibility to bring out those treasures in you by actually thinking ideas and working on those ideas. Otherwise, you're irresponsible, you steal, and you declare yourself limited under whatsoever you're stealing. So think of it. You have people who have less worth than a pen, a paper clip, $100, a friend's shoes, a friend's toy, a friend's CD, someone's phone, someone's tablet, someone's toothbrush. Well, maybe not toothbrush, but but that's the point. I challenge you to work on your self-esteem, work on your self-worth, try to discover your self-concept in your creator and in the purposes that he has created you to do, so much that you understand how so worthy you are that you can see yourself lowering yourself to pick filthy things that will eventually still get finished or pass away. So that's our time in this video. I'd like to know what you think about this topic. Don't bother, I won't ask you, have you ever stolen and how did it go? But I'd just like you to tell us other reasons that you think motivate people to steal, or any question or thought you have about this subject matter. And of course, like Proverbs 9 verse 17 says, stolen water is sweet and bread eaten in secret is pleasant, but he does not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of hell. So don't lower yourself so much. Please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, subscribe and hit the notification button. And I'd like you to join me as I say big thank you to our patrons, Manny Rivera, and all the wonderful family of people who support us monthly, that we can be able to do what we do. If you like to support this channel, Wisdom for Dominion, please check the link to our Patreon page in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in our next video.